What's up guys, this is Astranox. In this Hero Siege video, Season 8 build, guide, and showcase of the Arcane Shouting Viking. So I've done quite a few classes, going over the Arcane builds first. So like I said, Season 8, I've done plenty already. And of course, I'm gonna go over as many classes as possible, and I'm doing a lot of testing. It's a lot of fun, and I just got all my relic to level 10 on the Viking. I got lucky, and that was quick. That was quick. You can see here, Viking is it's been going up. So 10 hour, 52 minute. So yeah, I mean, I've been doing trades and stuff with the market, so I've been AFK. Yeah, maybe like 9 hours something, I would guess. Maybe a 9 hour and a half, maybe like a low 9 hour. Pretty good, you know, hero level 36. And yeah, so I'm gonna start it off with the gameplay and explain why you should build the Viking, and then I'll move on to the skill tree, the skill specialization, right? And then I'll show the charms and the you know, where I put those hero level points in. So let's begin, and don't forget to smash the like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these type of videos, because there's a lot more to come. Here we go. So the Arcane Shouting Viking. So as you can see, my life 11,179, but I have not done my combat orders, right? And I have not done my defensive shout. This is my stats. You can see 14,000 defense. That is quite a bit. So here we go. You can see 16,294 life and 3,358 mana. That's pretty solid. Like, you don't really run out of mana unless you're doing a very heavy, like, single target, you know, uber battle, right? And with the defense buff like 20,000, that's pretty solid. So monsters are not, you know, easily hitting you. So that's very good for survivability. And the attack, we're shouting. And it's the Odin's Fury, 1.26 million tooltip on this. Now, this is not endgame type of, you know, gear. As you can see here, I'm going to attack the dummies here, and you can see the damage to get an idea. I don't have my flask up, and I could run triple damaging flasks. It's not optimal just yet. I was seeing about, last I tested this, it was like 2.3 billion. This is like 6 target with the boss dummy. I guess I have to build up the shadow burn or something, or just get lucky with multi-casting shout, something like that. So the damage is definitely lower than other arcane class that I've tested, and I've been getting better gear. So before I move on to the gear, I'm gonna showcase real quick the character. So first of all, I'm gonna go and open the Ruby Gardens. Now, this is not Inferno, it's Hell 5, but I'm not using any angelic piece. You will see my gear. It's pretty budget friendly, and I'm gonna be going over the alternative gear set, because, you know, I have a lot of gear sets in my stash, so I can explain and show you guys, you know, in a descending order from like best to worst. And what I really like about this shouting, this Arcane Shouting Viking, is that the survivability is definitely there. Now, this Viking has a ton of life, very high defense, right? He's got some resistance from his passives. The shout, what's cool is that you can buff with combat orders other party members. You can, I don't run a mercenary, I should have a magic finding mercenary, but if you're running with other players, you are buffing them. You're making them, you know, more tanky, have more mana. People would love this, right? Now, the illusionists straight up get like level 60 battle orders, so it's much easier on the illusionist, which I thought like the Viking was able to much more easily get a high level battle order, but I was wrong. As you can see, everything's just getting melted, and I was doing Inferno, and I should probably go in Inferno to show you guys real quick the damage, because the targets are like instantly getting deleted, so you don't really see the true power. But it's gonna be about showing you guys the single target damage versus the boss, right? So let's go here. You can see the range. I've spec'd into it. The range is good, right? The range is quite, you can see the opacity is pretty high. But like what happens is that you don't have to target. You don't need the aimbot charm. You can easily just delete stuff, right? And that's really good. Like you don't have to worry about targeting, so you can easily just focus on avoiding stuff, right? I like to like zoom in a bit more so I get a, you know, when I'm doing like harder content, especially if you're playing hardcore, Odyssey, solo self-found hardcore, which I love to do. I love to play hardcore, but for making these build guides, I have to play softcore because the market, like I can get the gear much more easily. I wasn't hitting the boss there, so my damage went down. My flask, I didn't pop them as soon as they were available. So you can see the damage definitely went up, single target, multi-target, since I've been getting some upgrades, right? Especially the relics. So I'm gonna actually go and let's see if I can get. I can't do this. Let's see what I'm gonna get out of the Bifrost real quick. So maybe I luck out. Maybe we get an Uber battle. So let's just see real quick. So yeah, the Viking, I mean, range, AoE attack, you don't have to target. Very high survivability. Chaos Tower, or well, let's just do Shiponia. I was actually thinking, I kind of forgot, but I wanted to show Shiponia with because I have the entry keys. I have a lot of Ruby keys. But I have a ton of Bifrost keys. I have to just run them. But I really like the Viking. Like, that might actually become my favorite class so far. And I've built, like... How many classes did I build so far? Like, it's over 10. I built, like, 12 of them, something like that. It's a really good class, but I feel like you need better gear than the other ones that I've showcased already. Like... The survivability though is gonna be better than most classes. Like it's kind of like on the level of the Shield Lancer, and he's ranged, so that's very good actually, right? The Illusionist has very nice like survivability with the battle order. You know, you can make some targets to distract the enemy. The auto targeting of the beam is nice, but you're not hitting like this shouting. I can have it happen and just basically delete like hundreds of monsters instantly. I just like you can see the shouting animation is happening. I can actually show it better. Maybe that's too high. I mean, not very noticeable because the level is like, you know, it's the same color as the shouting. Oh, we got wait, where are am I crazy? Where are they? Okay, I thought there's like some goblins. I guess I just deleted them. So as you can see, like it's a non-issue. Like taking trash monsters is not a problem. The slowdown is the single target damage, right? But most of the time when you're speed farming, right, you care about the multi-target DPS. And what I really like about the Viking is that you don't really lag out. You don't really get like a FPS drop from the animation of the skill. Now it is, you know, like nothing super flashy, nothing crazy, but that's actually a big point, a big pro to the Viking, the Arcane Shouting Viking, is that your device is not like suffering. Like the FPS is pretty solid because there's no complex animation. There's no like projectile, like tornadoes and stuff, like, you know, that's moving all across the screen. And it's very clean. Like the animation, you know, like you can drop the opacity, but like it's very, I'm gonna go and kill the boss, but like it's very clean. Yeah, there's no screen clutter, which is something I really love, and I really love about Hero Siege compared to a lot of ARPGs, is that screen clutter, like it's a mess, right? So like you definitely don't want to go in that. That's pretty much a one shot. I mean, I haven't tested it to see if it's really a one shot, but yeah, so these you could kind of like put yourself in between, but that's a big attack. You want to get out of that. So now I'm getting, you don't want to be hit by that. So just be mindful of your range, right? You can see the damage is fine. Damage is fine. You have to get a bit of range. So that's it. Okay, nothing that I need dropped. Wait, what? I press Alt and there's nothing? Like, there's literally nothing that dropped from the boss. Like, not even like a garbage piece, like a white trash piece or something. Okay, that's unfortunate. So, yeah, okay, we're already, like, I don't want this video to be long, actually, so I'm gonna go and explain the skill setup, right? The skill build, the tree, the skill specialization. So let's just, let's get into it, right? Okay, so I gave some good reason why you should build this character. This is also a character that you get for free. You don't have to unlock other characters, so that's very good. So if you're looking for speed farming with no like downside to the performance of your computer, your device, then the Viking is very good for that. And the Shout can stun as well, especially trash monsters, not for boss and big monsters, but you can stun them. So that's very good survivability increase. And that's amazing for hardcore. The survivability of the high HP, the high defense, the shouting stun, deletes target instantly. There's no delay, right? Like a tornado from the shaman. So that's very good. Now you're gonna get a damage reduction compared to some of the top, like the ones that I've tested so far, right? Nomad, the Shield Lancer even like has higher damage. The Paladin, but they don't. Okay, the Nomad, yes, but most of them don't hit everything instantly, right? The Nomad can detonate stuff, but like when you're doing harder content, it's hard to start detonating like multi-target. And the lag, you know, all the tornadoes, the gusts, like they slow down your device. Okay, so the build. For the skills, full intelligence, right? You can go in vitality, armor, vitality, put them like in different things depending on how much survivability you want. More life, more vitality, like that is actually more damage with the Odin's Fury. I'll show you guys the specialization in a moment. So yes, you could get damage out of vitality on top of boosting your survivability, which is really nice. But since I'm playing in softcore and I'm pushing the damage, and I want to juice up that single target, I usually build all my arcane damage dealer with 400 intelligence, right? So as you can see, crazy defense. I'm gonna reshout just in case I'm you know, talking and then I lose the buffs. So yeah, it's definitely nice. Like the resistances, there's a cushion. You know, if you get minus resistance, you're farming like a satanic zone, or you're fighting like an endgame boss and you get minus resistance. It's always good to have some overcap, right? You don't have to follow the exact gear that I'm wearing, but I have 100. You know, you need 100% ignore arcane resistance. It's very important to boost your damage. Now, this passive is defense rating increase, so I'm at 166.5%. That's quite a bit. Like, it's definitely pumping my defense a lot. Plus with the defensive shout, so that's 114%. Very nice, and that can affect your allies in your team, your mercenary, right? So people will love that you're running this stuff, boosting their survivability. This passive is increase your resistances. Nothing crazy, just one pointer, because you just use your all skills and then it's just pumping, you know, free resistances. Nothing crazy. The charge is very nice. Now, I didn't even charge, guys. Like, that's the crazy thing. The charge is a big one. Why? Well, look at that. The charge that I set up, you can actually bring monsters with you. So that's crazy, right? Like, you can zoom on the map with this. You can power level, like level very quick with this. And, you know, like, if you don't mess it up, you can go very far. Now, there's a limit to how many targets you can have. But look, like, if you it's probably the wrong map because there's a bunch of like things all over the place. But let's say I go in here, right? This is one of my favorite gold farming plays. You go in there, look at that. Right? Like, it's nice. Oh, okay. I thought it was an ancient one. Like, it feels good. I'll just do one run and then I'll continue with the skill setup. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm not popping flasks for this, but look at this. Look how nice it feels. Like you're speed running, let's say this place or another place, and you get used to like the map, right? And then you can really speed things up. You can really speed things up like that. And you don't have to teleport. There's some damage involved as well, but we're not maxing this thing with the synergies. But it's definitely helping you to clear faster, right? Like I like to open these chests. You know, it's just a habit. So yeah, that's why it's nice. Like the charging, right? It lasts a long time as well. And you can go really fast. Like that's one cast, guys. Like the duration is very long. You can clump up a lot of monsters together. So that's very sweet. All right. Okay, so the build is... the passives are very important, but the thing is, this is your AoE damage dealing ability, right? So basically, you want to get those synergies, you know, pumped up. Like defensive shout, no problem. Like we're going to max that. Combat orders, perfect. We need that life, that mana, right? Duration is nice. Stone skin. So stone skin, perfect, right? So all three, you're going to max them anyways. So perfect synergies on this thing, right? Intelligence doesn't actually give you that much arcane damage, and I might actually end up testing it with like a full vitality build, because a lot of times like arcane damaging like characters give a lot more value to intelligence. It's above 10%, maybe like a 12% or something like that. So 8% is not that much, and I have to test it with vitality. Now I'll explain why, but here you have movement speed, 38%. It's something. It's just 1 point, and you get like a bunch of movement speed. Why not? I don't like to teleport. It feels nice. When you charge, you actually, you know, you deal a portion, you know, based on the damage you deal, this scales like almost 200% arcane damage of the charge damage. When you hit monster with charge, release a pulse dealing additional arcane damage and decreases monster attack rating. So you decrease their attack rating, and then with your high defense, it makes them even less likely to hit you. Very nice. Charging, I do it more in Inferno. Hellfire, I'm deleting everything, and you know, I'm talking at the same time. So so the charge, that's the way I have it set up. It's, you know, it's about, you get damage reduction as well. So another plus to using the charge, so you could, you know, use it more than what I've been using it. And here, this grabs monsters on your path, dealing damage and stunning them when you crash into terrain. So yeah, crowd control, you stun them, but really grabbing them and bringing along is very nice. I don't even have every point in there because I forgot actually. So you can actually boost the duration. There is stack buff, increasing your arcane skill damage when hitting monster. Okay, so there's that right there. Okay, so actually you can, or actually movement speed, so damage to stun target increase. So this is for the charge. It's not a big deal, so you can actually go there. So your charge is gonna go faster, and then you can actually stack a buff, increase your arcane skill damage. So like this is gonna buff that's gonna last like a certain amount of time, and that means your Odin's, like your AoE from Odin's Fury will actually deal more damage, it seems like. So that's actually very nice. I didn't notice that, right? And you can arcane break if you don't have 100% arcane penetration. So this is another nice thing. And yeah, you can increase the AoE of the charge. So like if you want to grab more monsters more easily, I think like the damage reduction is sweet though, right? So like, to be honest, like that's nice because damage reduction this applies to physical and magical. So that's very good. Shortly after, so let's just like test it out real quick. So I'm gonna charge, right? So I'm charging. Now you see damage taken reduced by 50. Look at that, physical and magical. This is another beautiful thing. That's very crazy actually. That is beautiful, man. And you need to hit monsters. I mean, I don't know if you hit the dummy, if that counts, but here, arcane damage increase. Wow, that's beautiful, man. Okay, I'm just gonna test it real quick on the dummy, and then I'm gonna finish the build, right? To explain how it works. Wow, it works on the dummy as well. So, but then like, yeah, I guess. I mean, the damage been building up, but then if you're gonna charge, that means you're not shouting while you're doing that. So, even maintaining the buff is messing up with the numbers, but you do get the 50% damage reduction. So that could be part of your rotation to definitely, you know, increase your survivability by a lot. So it's worth doing. Part of your rotation. Just charge every like 4 or 5 seconds. You don't want to drop that arcane damage increase stack. So not too bad, 2 billion, and then we have the charge, the survivability increase. That's solid. That's all. Okay, I like this. So that is the actual rotation, right? So that's the setup for the charge, right? And then finally the Odin's Fury. So how did I spec this? Now I didn't even go max out the damage because I've tested damage versus damage based on life, and 5 out of 5, like maxing this thing ended up being more damage than this, and I didn't even have as much life that I have now. My relics were not maxed out. They were like low level, like level 1, level 2. And now I have the relics, and my HP went up from like 12,000 to like 16,000, right? So that's definitely even better now. So maxing this is great. And if you want to stack your survivability, a lot of life, you know, vitality, you're playing hardcore, it's fine. Like that's going to equal to damage, and it's beautiful. So you go here, you can 2-point this, 2-point this, 2-point the multicast. That's a very powerful one actually. Multicast 30%, you got it maxed out with 2-point. And then here, this is actually echoing like more shouts automatically. So like the shouts are like constantly happening, right? So it's like you shout and then you have 3 additional shout that deal 60% of the original damage. So that's 180%. So basically you're almost triple shouting full damage. You know, that is so much. Like, I've tested the other one. That was the best damage that I got. I'll do some more testing later, but that was the best that I got, right? And then you definitely want to increase the AoE, you know, as much as possible. Now you can increase the single target damage if you feel like to stay in melee to, you know, not too far away from the target, the boss. You want as much burst damage as possible. You want to increase that single target. Maybe you swap between, you know, build 1 and 2, something like that. Then yeah, draw points off of the area of effect and put them into crippling shout to get, you know, this is 8% damage per point, so you could get 16% more damage. Now there's bleeding. You could like go with a bleed build. Like you could 1-point bleed, 1-point burning damage, and then you could go trembling roar. But I've tested before and it wasn't as much damage as this one, so I'm gonna have to redo some more testing. And you can actually stack gear that increase your damage when you're target like attacking a burning and bleeding target. So there's potentially a lot of damage that could happen if you go for something like that. And you just need like 1 point in burn and 1 bleed just to activate it. They will auto like burn and bleed as soon as, you know, you got 1 point in each, which will activate this thing, right? But this is only like 90% damage increase. But the thing is 90% each. But this is like a triple damage. So this would only work if you stack a lot of like increased damage to burning target and damage increased damage to bleeding targets. But then if you do that, then you don't even need to pump points into this one. You already have the increased damage when the target's burning because you go there. So you could drop 1 point out of the crippling shout and drop it into inflict bleeding on hit. Now you have burn and bleed. Your gear boosting damage to burn and bleed targets are activated, and you don't even need this because this is already dealing like close to triple damage. So it depends if you want a constant stream of shouts, like really like like triple shouting, like quadruple shouting every time you shout, or you want like shout, like one single every time. This might have better performance. Maybe eventually it will get better damage. I don't know. So yeah, that's the setup. And the hero level, it's basically you beeline up there. You don't go on the side here unless early on you go there and then you reach hero level 21, and then you get the mythic node of jeweler, and then you get to hero level 22. You can get this one, and then you can branch off to this side. But after that, you respec, you go straight to unlock this charm slot, when you can reach this charm slot as well, and then it can boost your damage considerably. And then later on you can branch off to this side, but there's not that much damage to gain here. You don't really need mana regen, mana on kill, because you have the shout that boosts your mana. But as soon as you can go up there and grab like 2 different things, like movement speed, hit recovery, and 25 all attribute, or 25 all attribute with all resist and maximum resist 1, or 2 all skills with like increased experience, and then you can get magic find as well. Like you could go like to 3 branches. That's very powerful. That's later on. Mercenary, just stack survivability, stack magic find, it adds up on top of yours, and your shouting will make it so your survivability increases. Now for the gear. Okay, finally. So the gear, it's not late game. Like it's not like angelic, unholy, like crazy on everything. Now, since my other videos, I got a pair of Chaos Walkers, very nice, and I got Angelic and triple Chaos Gem in there. Since my other videos, I got this Forge, I got a 5th socket into my Gaze of the Oblivion. What else did I get? I got the Corrupt here today, Arcane Skill Damage increased by 28%. That's a brand new one. Glacier Talons, I wasn't running that in most of my videos, but it's amazing with Celestial's Authority. Corrupt is garbage here. Corrupt is not really useful. So that's the changes since my other videos. And I decided to go with Anubis Ankh Charm because it deals more damage than Dragon's Heart, because life is survivability and life is more damage. So that's amazing, right? So that's great. And oh, okay, I do have 3 all skills to Viking instead of my usual. I run like this, right? Instead of like a lot of life. So you can get damage out of this thing, but it's not going to be as powerful as all skills. So you have 3, 4, 5 all Viking skills. Put that on your character. The crit damage doesn't work there. That's for physical. You need spell crit damage for it to work. So okay, my charms, of course, all skills very powerful. It's activating the passives, making your shots more powerful, your damage. It's really, really good. Just pause if I went too quick, guys. I have to really speed things up here. So for the gear, Glacier Talon, very good with Celestial's Authority. And then don't use that. Don't use the Saint Nemo's Lightbringer. It's slow down your performance, and it's not as much damage, because this is a double cast every time you cast. Yeah, not close. To use stuff that you cannot use, you have to wear like an absence of constraint. So Steve 1's very good. You can definitely wear the Steve 1 with the absence of constraint. But the thing is, Kodo's Wedding Band is very nice because you got all skills movement, you got massive life increase, especially if you start up, and that life equals to survivability and more damage for you, so that's great. Arcanist is amazing, so that helps you to reach 100 arcane penetration against the enemy. Celestial's Authority with Arcanist plus Arcanist Wrath together, that's very good. I need a better augment on this. I'm just fishing for one still. Stuff like that increases intelligence, converted into arcane skill damage, very nice. If you're running Celestial's Authority, stack on a bunch of pristine ruby in your gear. You don't need to go with these gems that I have, and those chaos gem, like, they're very expensive. Even if you're gonna be mining, you could be just selling them and purchase other gear instead. But like, I decided to go, it's kind of like a mistake because you don't get that much damage. But I do a lot of mining and geo crafting, so it's fine. It's fine. This amazing survivability on this belt, but with the charge now, the 50% damage reduction for magical and physical is insane. So you might not need to run this, and you can run with like another belt, right? So the higher stuff is better than, like, it's best to worst, kind of like. I prefer this because the survivability and everything is useful on this belt. It's crazy, right? For a satanic is amazing. So yeah, sometimes you might have stuff that start up high, right? You got a nice forge, maybe you go with that. So yeah, the weapons, I'm gonna keep going where I was. I'm just gonna mouse over, you know, you can pause if I go too quick. Different options, but stuff you cannot wear, you really need to have this absence of constraint. The Earth Shaper is very nice for leveling. You can wear 2 of them, helps a lot. You can wear 2 Talons of Wisdom, you know, low level, level 24. You can see it here because you can't see, I'm like blocking the view, right? For leveling, these are really good. Really good stuff. The Earthbind is quite nice mixed with the Shout. So going down in performance compared to, you know, the Arcanist Wrath, these are definitely solid options. More cast speed means more movement speed with this Exalt Pagan's Mantle. This is crazy survivability. Flat damage reduction, you know, 5-star that thing. 5 to maximum all resistances. The healing from the Holy Nova proc, that thing is beast for survivability, but I went for pure damage. Now, if you play hardcore, that could be amazing. That could be amazing for you. That's the thing. I've done like a video that shows you like how you can kind of like be immortal, and that's one of the piece to that puzzle. But yeah, you can check a lot of my other videos. I'm going to be covering all the other arcane based magic, you know, classes that I haven't, and then I'll revisit, do comparison of damage, you know, between them with the same gear set, because I've been slowly upgrading my gear. And then like if I have to give a con about the Viking, is that you probably lose 30 to 40% damage, or like if you're running like a shield lancer, a paladin, a nomad as well. Illusionist, I have to redo it because I didn't have like the level of gear that I have now. But like those classes can deal 30 to 40% more damage than the Viking. But the Viking has very good survivability, like level of the Shield Lancer, which is like best survivability in the game. Now Viking is up there, and the Viking is unlocked for free. You don't need to purchase him, right? So yeah, just pause. Like I show you from best to worst, and like lower ones is basically like leveling gear, leveling set of gear that you can be wearing. So it gives you guys ideas for different pieces depending where you are in the game, depending on your budget, right? This is amazing, but you need Celestial's Authority, and the Ymir Frozen Tier, you need to start this up and get a nice forge on it, and it will be the Steve necklace, right? Fairly cheap, but it's very hard to start up, right? You don't want to be like cleaning the corrupt. That's awful. These things cost so much to make, like it wasn't worth it, because Steve set the Traveler stuff for leveling is better, the Steve set is better, but that was crazy to get 11 arcane skills. That's busted, and the replenish mana is very nice. But yeah, the Traveler stuff is just better, So yeah, different options, right? Depends what you're trying to do. And I think like I would definitely stack on some cast rate. Like if you can get some nice forge to increase your cast rate, like a forge here and there that boosts cast rate, or you could socket those jewels that increase your cast rate. Yeah, I would give some pretty solid like cast rate. I would go for it, kind of like out of my way on the Arcane Shouting Viking, because it doesn't crash your performance like a lot of other classes. Charms for the square ones, you know, if you need to reach 100% arcane penetration, that's the one. Moonshard, very good. Just counter the arcane resistance. Put like a Gaze of the Void, put a Damien's Cage, put a Witch's Brim Hat, like different ways to like counter the minus arcane resist early game, right? You hit 100, you're almost 100, like you can wear this at 63, very powerful. Now for hardcore, be careful, you need to counter the arcane resistance minus 75, so you need some charms to counter that worst case. Just make sure you don't play with, you know, low arcane resistance. I would try to get cap resistances for hardcore, because you never know what happens. Like, right, you don't need to run an aimbot, because the shouting is just a massive AoE that targets everything. But like the Hardened Steel Defender, very nice. I already have it on, right? This always run that, because for a 2 slot, like that's the best you can get for a 2 slot, like 15% life increase. right? The flat life you can get is not that much. It's like 160. You cannot beat like 20% life increase. That's just great. So small charms idea, pure ints, mana after each kill. That could be nice early on when you're struggling, but like life after each kill is super strong. Like if I was in a hardcore, I would stack a few of those. I'd get like 100 life after each kill. You'd be surprised how powerful that is. Like people in Path of Exile 2 stack life after kill, and they don't get that much. We get so much in this game. Like that's overpowered. Like I would run like 100 to 200 life after each kill, maybe, because I don't have access, like early on especially. You don't have access to like Steve charms. You don't have access to Soul Collector especially. You don't have access to Fulgurit, like the Torch of Shadow. Like forget it. Like in hardcore especially, the market is kind of dry, especially solo self-found. Life after each kill, very strong. Like that's free healing. Cast rate, you could run that. Enhanced defense, that could be powerful, because like working with everything together and stacking your defense means like you don't get hit with like, you know, melee attack, projectile. That really helps for survivability. I would take vitality over flat life on a small one. Pure arcane skill damage. You can run other elemental like fire, cold, lightning if you're running Celestial's Authority, because you get 125%, 25% more if you run Celestial Authority. That's why I'm saying stack Pristine Ruby instead of Chaos Gems, because these cost 20,000 gold, 30,000 gold. You can, if you solo self-found, run Pristine Ruby, Pristine Topaz, Pristine Sapphire, mix them up, like, because you're building them evenly if you somehow have a Celestial's Authority. Because Chaos Gem is like 1.5 million, around that, to 2 million up if you don't craft them yourself, right? So Angelic Gem is like around a million. So always put one Angelic Gem before you put Chaos Gem, because it's limited to one per piece of gear. So yeah, other ideas for Grand Charm, like pure life percentage, flat life with other things, like very nice, like faster hit recovery. If you can get skills increase, Viking skill increase, that'd be crazy. With some life, like yeah, that would be really good. Like I would make maybe a space to run another one, and then when you run, you get the other slot. This will be unlocked, this one here. You unlock this one so you can put like a Soul Collector, or you know, you can run 4 square charms, and then it really opens up like a lot of possibilities. This, you don't really need to run it. I like the movement speed, but you can definitely change it up, right? So the relic flat life is crazy. That's more survivability, that's more damage with your shout, because you scale off of life. So the cheeseburger is just hard to pass, basically, right? I mean, literally, like cheeseburgers are great too, right? So 1,000 life, and then the Mayo's Old Sock, 600 life, but you need to build it to level 5 to really start seeing some nice flat life. After level 5 all the way to 10, it starts to really build up. With the vitality, these are solid, but cheeseburger's better, of course. And then the Holy Bible, I mean, 2 all skills, 10 all attribute, that affects your passive, that affects your synergies, your main attack, your shouts, everything. That's beautiful. Can't go wrong with the Holy Bible. The Magic Mushroom, if you want pure all attribute, very powerful. That's the best all attribute out of the relics, right? You can run the Triforce, that's only 20 all attribute, but you get 10 all resistances, I believe. So if you need resistances, you can go for that, right? Flask, I always run Life Flask. I prefer to have stack regenerated per second, always. Same for mana. I might drop this, we'll see how it goes. But like, you want to increase, like, you can get the one that increase all your skills by 5. It's pretty expensive, I think, though. Magic skill damage is nice. This one is expensive to get better ones, right? So, because that drops from Amun-Ra, I think. Amun-Ra in Inferno. So, yeah. So definitely can be improved, and you can get the XP increase flash. So when you pop like Chaos Towers, you know, you're doing like that spawning event and stuff like that, you can get some extra XP, especially when you get the one that drop all the purple like XP globe. Yeah, very nice to pop an XP increase flask, of course. So yeah, that was the gear, and that's the cast rate jewel. You can put some Z early on, but they're pretty expensive. I wouldn't. Survivability increase. Wilder Jewel, maybe you can go with like a Leviathan's Carcass, especially in hardcore, and you'd go 6 of those in there. Like, look at the life, 16,000. Look at that, 21.8 21,800 with that armor. That is pretty crazy. I'm not gonna run damage tests with different things, but like, yeah, I might just end up making a Viking in a hardcore. That's how much I enjoy the Viking, right? So that's basically the build. I've explained why he's amazing, and I'd like to hear what you guys think about this video, you know, my thoughts about the Viking, this build guide, and what you think about the Viking. Of course, I'll be doing like physical builds and other element builds later down the line, but I'm trying to build up all the arcane classes because that's the set of gear that I've built, right? So it makes sense that I go with that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I lucked out leveling these. Like, I got a nice satanic zone. I had to run like 2 different one. I have to even make my own satanic zone, a few of them, to like get those relic powered up. It was kind of brutal today. It was brutal. So that was like a, you know, 1 day, like 3 hours to build him to level 100, and then you know, you can see hero level 36. Usually I can go to 21 and have my relic close to level 10. So it was brutal. It was brutal, guys. A Steve 2-piece, guys, very good for the 50 all resistances, with Rune only giving 8 all resistances. Like, don't sleep on 2-piece Steve set. It's crazy. If you want to run the 1, if you want to run 3-piece, which is very powerful, make sure you have the absence of constraint to enable wearing stuff you cannot wear normally, right? You could drop a shield, and you could even go with like 2 weapons, two claws, right? I wouldn't wear this because 2 of those means you don't have Celestial's Authority. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of different setups, and I'll be improving on the gear and try different things. But yeah, like I said, I'd like to hear what you guys think about all that. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe if you enjoy these type of videos. So yeah, I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.